Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, 100% Pure Elvis. As always, thank you for taking the time out to return to my channel, and if you are new to 100% Pure Elvis, thank you for subscribing and welcome to the channel. I am continuing my review of all of Elvis Presley's 1970s studio albums. I'm talking through my favourites and my least favourites. So far I have uploaded 3 over the last couple of nights. So yesterday I did the Elvis full album, otherwise known as Elvis. I've done the That's the Way It Is album. I've also uploaded the Raised on Rock album, and the album I'm going to talk to you all about today was a 1975 issue, and it reached number 21 in the UK album charts. But it only stayed in the UK album charts for 4 weeks, and the album in question is a personal favourite of mine from the 1970s, and it is the brilliant Promised Land. And the copy that I have is the music on vinyl copy, which is limited edition, and my numbered copy is 1836. Now, Promised Land, again, it's an album that tends at times to get a raw deal with certain aspects in the Elvis community, but again, for me, Promised Land has to go into my top 5 favourite Elvis albums from the 70s. I just think the track listing across both sides is amazing. I think Elvis is in fine voice. Don't think there's any weak songs on the album whatsoever. It doesn't have the big hit single. The only big hit single off this album was Promised Land. I think that's such a great song. And again, I think the reasonings behind why the album didn't perform that well in the UK and the US of A is, again, because there was no big hits behind it to push the album, and I also think, you know, with Elvis being on tour consistently throughout the 70s, as you all know, when a new Elvis album was released, Elvis still didn't sing many songs off that album in concert. He wouldn't go out there promoting the album a great deal. On the odd occasion, he would mention a new album being released in the concert itself, but he wouldn't that often sing new songs off the respected album that was just being released. So again, the Elvis fans that were at the concerts, you know, it was all about hearing the hit singles, hearing the big hits. That's what they wanted to hear. For me, you know, obviously I wasn't old enough to see Elvis live in concert, but I think if I would have been, I would have loved to have heard Elvis have a more diverse range on his concerts, where I think nowadays when stars release an album, they go and tour with it and they will sing most of the album as well as their big hitters. And I just think, obviously, in Elvis's day, it was very different, and Elvis didn't go out and do that a great deal. He kind of just gave the audience what they wanted. So again, I don't think Elvis was really that great at promoting certain album releases. Now, again, that's not knocking Elvis. Again, I just feel because he was touring so much throughout the 70s up until his death in 1977, I don't think he promoted any of his albums a great deal. But going back to the album Promised Land, again, let me just talk you through the track listing for Promised Land. So side A is Promised Land. There's a Honky Tonk Angel Who Will Take Me Back In, Help Me, Mr. Songman, Love Song of the Year. Side B, It's Midnight, Your Love's Been a Long Time Coming, If You Talk in Your Sleep, Thinking About You, You Asked Me To. And as I was saying, this is the music on vinyl copy, and my limited edition number is 1836. If anyone has any additional information on the front cover shot, can you please share in the comments below? I think it's from 1975 concert. I just love the back as well. RCA always promoted album releases from Elvis at the time. So this was another way of Elvis fans knowing about other albums that were available to purchase at that specific time. This copy, so it comes in a black sleeve, and oh, it's beautiful. I'm hoping you can see it okay. This is like a marble coloured 180 gram heavyweight vinyl, and it's kind of like got a gold RCA label in the middle. It's such a beautiful vinyl. But going back to the album itself, I just want to talk you through some of the tracks on the album. My favourite one off the album would be There's a Honky Tonk Angel Who Will Take Me Back In. I think that's such a beautiful song. Help Me, It's Midnight. I also love the hit single Promised Land. Is there a weak song on the album? Not in respect of I don't like the song, but the weakest song I would possibly say is Thinking About You. So for me, Promised Land, it's an album that when I do tend to put Elvis albums on from the 1970s, it is an album that I do choose to go to quite often. It's definitely in my top 5 from the 1970s. What I will do soon, I'm going to do a list of my favourite Elvis studio albums from the 70s, 60s and 50s, so keep a lookout for that. And I will give my reasonings behind why them certain albums from each era are my favourites. And also, I have been asked to do least favourite albums from each era. You know, it's going to be more difficult because, again, I don't like doing negative posts on Elvis songs or albums, you know, so I'll try my best to kind of come up with albums that I'm not overly keen on. But going back to Promised Land, you know, reaching at number 21 in the UK charts in 1975. I think that was quite good for Elvis because, again, in 1975, I think the Elvis buying public just wasn't buying Elvis in the quantities of the as the previous albums. So, but the difficult year for Elvis. 1973, believe it or not, as we all know, was a lower from Hawaii. The album to accompany the concert sold millions worldwide, but he also had a difficult year with studio albums in 73. So the Fool album and Raised on Rock. So Raised on Rock just did not reach the UK top 40 album charts. And the Fool album just, it didn't even, you know, it just didn't do anything over here. So 1973 was a good year and a bad year in some ways for Elvis albums. So getting to 1975, and this was released in January of 1975, reaching number 21 in the UK charts. And I think if Promised Land wasn't released as a single beforehand, sorry, I'm just going to take a quick drink. I think if Promised Land wasn't released as a single before the album release, it might not have reached the dizzy heights of number 21. Obviously, you know, did Elvis care about chart positions? Possibly not, but he definitely cared about giving the fans what they wanted. He wanted his fans to still buy his music and still listen to his music, and we, you know, obviously I didn't buy Elvis in the 70s because I was far too young, but for some unknown reason, some Elvis fans kind of steered away from some albums. And is that because of was the music scene changing? You know, were they going on to someone else? I don't think so. I think it was all down to the album really getting lost, and the promotion of certain albums just wasn't there. So again, I feel, for me, the album Promised Land, even though it reached number 21 in the UK charts, I think that's a very good chart position in 1975 for Elvis for this album. And again, it's in my top 5 favourite albums from the 1970s. I think it is a great album. It is in fine voice, some great songs on this album. So what's your thoughts on the Promised Land album? What's your thoughts as to why it didn't perform that well in the UK or the US of A? And again, or is it an Elvis album from the 1970s that you would put nearer the bottom end of your least favourite albums from the 70s? I would look forward to seeing the comments below. So again, please keep a lookout for more uploads coming real soon on Elvis Presley 1970s studio albums, and the next lot I'm going to be doing next week will be on the 1960s. So again, thank you all for returning to my channel, 100% Pure Elvis. And as I always sign out by saying, keep Elvis close to your hearts. Please keep on playing his music. It's really important to me, and love to you all. And I will speak soon, everybody. Bye-bye.